What's up guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Tony and today gagawin natin yung mission na which is yung susundin na natin yung narrator. Kasi for the past 2 days ginagawa natin is yung saliwa doon sa sa narrator. Kaya ngayon gagawin natin yung kung ano na yung sinasabi ng narrator. Kumbaga so let's go. Okay, bigyan na natin. Skip na natin yan kasi paulit-ulit na lang naman yan eh. Start na tayo. Ngayon gagawin na natin kung ano yung sinasabi niya. Let's go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wala, tapos na natin yung new content na yan, so... ba't parang nag-iba pa? Maliban sa new content, nagkaroon pa nitong ilaw-ilaw. Pero sige, diretso na tayo dito.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, enter the door on his left, kaya dito na tayo sa left. So sundin na natin, magiging mabuting empleyado na tayo. So let's go. Tingnan natin kung anong mangyayari.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Tingnan natin. Synergy, core value, expenditure, ship, global market. Alright, let's go. Sa taas at baba. Nakita na rin natin yung baba last time. So, taas na tayo. Which is nakita na rin naman natin, pero... Diretso na tayo. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated
Gagawin
this.
na natin yan.
What dark
Kasi alam na rin
secret was
naman
being
natin
held
kung,
from him? What he could not have known was that the
pipindutin.
keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that
Mali
his
lang
boss
natin
had
ang
been
one
keeping
time.
from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Gawin natin
But of course,
2584.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
84. Mali. Tingnan na lang sasabihin. Wala. 2854. Alright. Mali.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2845. Pag nagkamali ka pala, may sasabihin din siya.
By simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ito din yun bakit parang nag-iba? Hindi, ito din. Baba na tayo. Hindi na tayo aakyat ulit kasi nasubukan na natin umakyat ulit. Magiging masunuri na tayo.
Into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Tignan natin kung hindi na siya maiinis sa atin o anong mangyayari.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nasubukan na natin tong escape na to. So dito na tayo. Diretso na tayo sa Mind Control Facility. Okay, anong meron dito? Pipindutin ba? Sige, subukan natin.
The lights
Alright.
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Okay. Lumabas na daanan. Wala namang ibang choice. Yan lang naman talaga. Hindi tayo pwede magpasaway. May computer. I hate Mondays. Lagi na lang. Anong nakasulat dito? Hindi ko kita. Okay, pindutin na natin tong camera.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true
fired
nature
na, mga
revealed.
fired na.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ang hirap siguro kung ito trabaho mo, ang dami niyan. 600 employees, tapos ganyan kadami yung CCTV. Hindi ko alam kung may makita ka pa dyan gumagawa ng kalokohan. Okay. Ito na. Kala ko diretso na pala tayo. Okay. Elevator to
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Hindi ka pa ba manipulated nun kung ano nga lang pipindutin mo tsaka kung gaano katagal yun lang yung gagawin mo tapos
he refused
sabihin mo
to
hindi ka
believe
pa
it. He
manipulated.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Okay. Sana tayo. Sa dilim Wala ba dun sa iba? Wala, ito na.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or
Mind
sad
control,
or
status
content.
offline.
Walking, eating,
Offline.
working. All of it monitored and commanded
Offline.
from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again
5.
exert its terrible power over another
Mind
human
control
life.
idle
For
awaiting input.
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Pwede ba pindutin 5? Tumutunog yung paa niya pero wala naman tayong paa. Nakasulat. Kumabasa. System.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place
Ito na naman
and to
yung
everything it
choices.
stood
Off
for.
and on. Turn it off. Ano nang nangyari?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Siyempre hindi. Sasalita ka pa nga
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Loko-loko to Kala mo
Even
freedom
as
na
the
hindi
immense
naman.
door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Okay.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
Ahantayin
No
ko
longer
pala.
would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Wow.
It was
malaya na
perhaps
tayo
the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Tingnan niya natin. Okay.
Stanley felt the
Wow.
cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path
Before him.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley
Was
was
happy.
happy.
Ayun na yun. Kung turn off kaya natin, ano kayang mangyayari dun? Hindi ko alam kung tapos na talaga to. Oh, nandito na naman tayo. Ano na naman to?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ulit na lang. New content. Subukan nga natin yung ano.
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to
Aba,
show you.
baka may bago yata dito Kasi hindi ito yung dialogue niya kahapon Kasi merong mga may mga neon lights. Kahapon wala naman. Tingnan natin. May mga neon lights na kasi ngayon. Baka may bago. Tapos gagawin natin yung 36 jump.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Iba na.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Gumawa na siya ng sarili niya. Alright.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
Investor
This
showcase.
is what fans have
Stanley
truly been
Parable
asking
2.
for.
The end is never the end. Again.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is
It's a
just so much
sequel.
catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable
Para
2,
siyang
now
kinikilig sa
that's
Ultra
an
Deluxe.
artistic statement right there. It's
Alright.
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Alright, let's go. Aba, bumubukas yung pintuan ng kusa. Saan tayo? Bagong office to. Ito magandang office. Ganyan. Ano to? Don't talk to me before. I've had my sequel. Alright. New mug. Magkaka-Stanley Parable to kaya. Aba, numeretso.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be.
Sinagot
But
niya
let's
tayo,
take a
diba?
look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure
Scrub
that if I can
design,
loosely
pitch break,
organize
pitch
a handful of
design,
interesting
number 2, chat.
concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Show to the... this way to the show floor. Show ang wala. Takte yan. New features. Okay, ba red carpet tayo artistahin Alright, let's go. Maganda
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Anong features? Anong new features? Ang nakikita ko lang dito yung mukha ni Stanley. Ito ba mukha ni Stanley? This is how I look.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of
Get well
decoration,
someday.
like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Ito.
You know, sometimes when you
Get well
solicit
someday.
another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Iba yung pinindot natin, iba yung nilabas niya. Syungap. Tara, diretso tayo. Tayo naman ang binabasag nito dito. Ayos
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Saan tayo? Ang laki. Oh, jumps. Aba, meron ulit. 36.
You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
Okay. Ano na? Wala lang. Get here. What's this? Award? Okay. Get yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new achievement. No more step. It's just wait. Get yours right now.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and
That's
when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Sige nga. Up.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Wala. Scam to. Nakakaganti ka, ayos ka. Diretso tayo, saan pa ba meron?
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Eto, ano meron dito? Uy.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Paano? Dumidikit ba tayo? Lumalapit nga. Ano to? Okay. Aba, may collectibles. Ang tanong, may achievement collectible. Tingnan nga natin. Yun na yun.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Eh bakit dito sa jump wala tayong nakuha? Dapat meron din. Eh zero na nga oh. Wala tayong nakuha dito sa junk. Reassurance, bakit? Dito tayo. Ano meron dito?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it.
Reassurance, bakit?
I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Ano meron
It's
dito?
the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's
Ayun.
true. As
Ayun.
long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more
Ano gagawin ko dyan
convenient
sa
solution for
bucket?
me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
What?
the bucket is
What?
the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Tingnan nga. Ano meron dyan? Sabay tawa si gago.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All
lakas
this
ng
and
trip
more
niya.
await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Reassurance, bakit? Pwede na ibalik yan. Masa na tayo? Pause na. Pero may bakit na tayong dala. Para saan to?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Dito sa 2, para tayong pinagtitripan nakakaganti to Infinite hole. Napasok na ba natin to? Hindi pa yata. Ito. Di pa. Okay. What's this? Infinity hole entrance dito. Pero meron tayong dalang bucket. Para saan to?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Iba ang trip mo Parang gusto mo lang man-trip ah. Sige, talon tayo.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then,
Ala.
since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Tingnan muna natin. Ano pa meron dito?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Aray ko.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. A normal person actually wants to fall infinitely. I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Mostly
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Tingnan nga natin pagka kung may sasabihin siya after a few minutes. Wala na.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Pag tumalon kaya ako, ano kaya sasabihin nito?
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't
Paulit-ulit
make
kaya
an
natin
infinite
hanggang
hole.
sarado niya na yung
That
hole.
not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Okay.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I
Tatalon
really
ulit
do
tayo.
have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
Okay.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing that... Wow, okay.
Paikli na paikli.
I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here?
Ang lakas ng asar
Stanley,
ah.
I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point.
Sabi ko
It's
na nga
more
ba.
of a... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Okay.
The,
Sabi ko na nga ba tayo.
teleport button not working?
Ayaw
You
kumana.
sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Okay. Ayaw talaga.
Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the whole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Umalis na siya. Ala. Dito na lang tayo, wala na. Oh, ano yun? Tumutunog. Uy. Uy. Hey! Nasa ka na, friend? Come on, friend. Ala. Ala, lumulubog. Lumulubog. Nilulubog niya. Ala. Dito na nagtatapos to. No. Change perspective. May bakit? Ayun nga itsura ni Stanley. Change your perception. Wala namang gumagana. Change your reality. Ang dami niya ng pinagagawa. Change yourself. Ala. Naging robot na. Naka-headstand na. Ano pa?
Stanley? Stanley! Stanley! Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So
Let's go!
how about if I just pop in from
Palabasin mo na ako
time to
dito.
time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back.
Oy. Oy. Palisin mo na ako dito. I don't like the hole. Pag pinagtripan mo siya dito, pag nagtripan ka rin niya. Ayos to ah. Okay. Tapos na. Sinarado niya, no? Sana tayo.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
The button that says the name of player that is playing the game. Oh, wala na. Ito na lang talaga. Sige. Let's go. Hear your name in the game. Alright?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious
Too big,
answer
too
is
small?
that they want to be
Just right.
individually recognized and validated as people. So with that
Let's
in
go.
mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game.
Hear
Isn't
your...
that wonderful?
Let's go. Tingnan nga natin. Ginagago lang tayo nito eh. Name.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
Sige na.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away. Jim.
Tinanggal niya na. Alright, let's go. Saan na tayo? Tinanggal niya na. Wala na. Saan pa tayo pupunta?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Saan na tayo pupunta? Exit na tayo.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yes. Galit na siya. Okay, exit na ako.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Ayusin niya na, tingnan niya natin.
Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Alright, tingnan nga. Ano na?
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Same pa din eh.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Of course, with respect, with care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
That's me.
Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up.
Tingnan niya. Ano, meron ka?
Go ahead.
Take a look. Aba! Ano ka? Begin the game. Sige nga. Sabaw din tong narrator eh.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
May mga may mga...
Employee number 427's job was
may mga balloon.
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Same
Orders
lang,
came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it so
bakit parang ang dami na niyang
Stanley relished
pinipindot?
every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
May ba siya?
Was
Masabi.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Ayan na.
Something that would forever change Stanley.
Ayan na yung
Something he
two.
would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give
May
him
mga balon
instructions,
lang, yun lang yung
call a
dinagdag
meeting,
niya eh.
or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh. May mga balon
All
lang
of his
yun lang
co-workers
ginawa
were
mo eh.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ano naman binago mo? Nilagyan mo lang ng mga balloons.
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him
What?
to pick it up. Why was he not doing it?
Saan yung bakit? Ito. Sige nga.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Ito yung bago. Ito yung dinagdag mo, boy.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Uy. Left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Ano naman?
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How
The game
insightful the
bucket.
bucket turned out to be.
Okay.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Sige, diretso na tayo dyan. Sa meeting room.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Uy, what's this?
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Ang daming possibilities ng In fairness We care about you, Stanley. Tas masanggol.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Ano na gagawin natin? Ito. Okay. Bumukas na.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Hindi ka na nagsasalita.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No. Wala. Hindi pwedeng i-off.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
No! Sira na lang.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Sira yung Bucket Destroyer nang hindi nasisira yung bucket. Oh, wala na. Alright, dito na lang muna ulit. Thank you guys for watching and like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.